So, welcome to the next lecture class. That is a subject of in the subject of engineering mechanics and the topic and today's topics. Let us continue the topic that is we have started in the last class. That is centroid. So, so let us go to the next topic. Today's topic. So, in the previous class, what we have discussed, and in this class, we are going to discuss and you have to learn about this term centroid and you should be able to state the by end of this class you should be able to learn about the formula for locating centroid of an area, and you should be able to also differentiate between the state the difference between the center of gravity and centroid, right? So by the end of this class you should be able to learn all these definition of centroid and state the formula from the location of centroid of an area. Okay, so generally it is centroid of generally we are going to discuss about only regular regular areas. Okay, so how to find it and also state the difference between the center of gravity and centroid. So that means that what we are learned about center of gravity in the last class. Now in this class we are going to learn centroid and what is the difference between centroid and center of gravity, right? So if just recap the what we have discussed in the last class. So in the last class we have discussed about the center of gravity. So center of gravity of a body is the fixed point through which the resultant of parallel forces due to the weights of each particle of it always passes for a all position of the body. It means that the point where total weight of the particle is assumed to be concentrated is not assumed, it is concentrates. Okay, so simply we can say in simple words we can say that center of gravity of body is nothing but where total entire mass of the body is assumed mass of the body is passes through the point, or resultant weight of the all the particle passes through the point, fixed point. That point we are calling it as a center of gravity. Okay. So that is nothing but we have discussed in the last class, and also we have discussed about the different regular solid shapes and their where the center of gravity lies, CG lies. For center of gravity means abbreviation we use the term CG. So where the CG lies, we have discussed for the cylinder, cone, as well as pyramid, right? So sphere. So we are all these general regular solid bodies. We have discussed the where the center of gravity lies. Okay. So basically, center of gravity is nothing but which consists of weight. Okay. So that is a mass or weight. Okay. When the mass is there, means obviously weight will be there, right? Now in this class, we are going to learn the something about a different centroid. Now let us see discuss. Let us start the today's topic. That is, imagine a body of uniform thickness and gradually reduce the thickness. Okay, so let us say generally any body will have three dimensions, right? So three dimensions means length, width, and thickness. All these three are thickness or depth. Okay, so but if it is a if you take a thickness is very less compared to its size, other two dimensions, then generally the thickness will can be negligible. Let us say if you take a paper, okay, a paper if you take, so the thickness of paper is very less. Okay, very less, very less, right? Whereas compared to its size, okay, normally if you take A4 paper, the size will be very large compared to its thickness. Okay, so length and width will be very large compared to its thickness. So thus type in that case, those bodies will ultimately reduces to an area instead of solid bodies, three-dimensional bodies. It reduces in areas. Areas means only two dimensions, right? Because the thickness will be very negligible. Okay, because of that thickness the weight may not be that much, may not be considerable that much. Okay, so the center of gravity of the body then becomes the centroid of the area. Means if your body would ultimately degenerate means degenerate into area means it will reduces to an area because of thickness is very less. Okay, so imagine a body of uniform thickness and gradually reduce the thickness is reduced. Okay, so let us say 10 and thickness, any thickness is taken, and if you go on reducing the thickness, it will be less than 1 mm, less than 0.1 mm, 0.2 mm, like that. If you go on reducing, so thickness will be very less compared to its other dimensions, really very less. So ultimately what happens, that degenerates into an area. Okay, so because of the very less thickness, negligible thickness. That's why this center of gravity, when this in that case, the center of the body then becomes the centroid of the area. Okay, centroid of the area. Center of gravity of the body reduces to becomes the centroid of the area. Okay. Means the center of gravity word we use generally for the body which are having some weight or mass. Okay, so whereas centroid is the term we use for the having only for areas. Okay, so that is nothing 2D, two dimensionals. We are not going to consider weights here. Okay, weights or masses. Whereas in center of gravity, weights or masses are considered. Okay, that's the difference, basic difference between center of gravity and centroid of an area. Again, the term center of gravity applied in the case of solid bodies, while the term centroid is used in the case of plane surfaces or areas. Okay, that's what we have discussed. Okay, plane surfaces or areas, only areas. Okay, so we are not going to discuss about the solid bodies. Solid body means that will consist some mass or weight, whereas this and that are used for only solid bodies. Whereas the term centroid is used for the case of only plane surfaces. Okay. Now let us discuss about the location of center of gravity. So what is the center of gravity location? How to find out? We have discussed in the. Let's just recap it. So it is a point at which the resultant of the gravitational forces act, or in other words, it is nothing but the calculation of position of the resultant of coplanar parallel forces. Okay. So it's a point where the resultant of coplanar forces passes through. That is nothing but it's a position of resultant. Okay, that is nothing but a center of gravity. Okay. In that one, we have discussed that the body consists of several particles. Each particle has its own weight. Okay, that weight is the weight that will act vertically downwards. If you draw lines of all, if you say they in a body, there can be any number of particles. If you take this all these forces, line of action of all the forces, it will forms like a parallel forces. Okay, parallel force system. Right. That parallel force system, if you calculate the resultant, okay, you will get the you can able to calculate the resultant and its position also. Okay, that position or that point through which all the resultant of all the forces of this weights passes through, that point is nothing but the center of gravity. That's what he is saying. In other words, it is the point at which the resultant of the gravitational forces act. It is a point at which the resultant of the gravitational forces act. Okay, that is nothing but your center of gravity. That is already we are discussing in last class. Now let us discuss centroid. Okay. So what is centroid? So centroid means it is, just now we have started a discussion about centroid. It is a point inside or outside the area at which whole area may be assumed to be concentrated. Okay. So area is the point where area is assumed to be concentrated is nothing but centroid. Okay. Again that simple definition, where it is a point where whole area is assumed to be concentrated, where area, total entire area of the body or a plane surface area is assumed to be concentrated. Okay. Generally, the centroid is applicable for just for plane surface only or areas. Just now we are discussed just now. Okay. Even the point of your centroid point may be that may be inside the area or even outside the area also. It may falls outside of the area also. Some particular cases it will be outside of the area also. Okay, always need not be inside. Whereas a center of gravity always within the body. Okay, so center of gravity will be always within the body only. Okay. So location of centroid. Consider that area is composed of several small areas. Okay, just like what we have done in the case of a body, solid body. In the case of central gravity, we are divide. It consists of number of several particles. In this case, also several small infinitesimal areas, very small areas, infinitesimal areas. Okay, so consider that area is composed of several small areas. Okay, assume each of these small area as a force and determine the position of resultant of these parallel forces, which is the location of centroid. Just now, what we have done in the case of central gravity, the same thing here. But only the thing is that in that case, in the case of central gravity, it's nothing but we use the term mass or weight. Okay. Whereas in this case, it are using the term areas. That is the only thing is we should differentiate between difference between location of centroid and centroid. So assume each of these small areas as a force. Okay. So and determine the position of the resultant. In that case, in the central gravity, there is no need of assumption. That itself the area particle has its own weight. It's nothing but a force, gravitational force on that one particle. That itself is like a force. Okay. So when that is a force, then it is nothing but we have to calculating the resultant of that force. Right. In this case also, you assume each area is one force. Okay. Each of the small areas has force and determine the position of the resultant. Okay, assuming that area has a force, calculate the resultant, because already we know that how to calculate the resultant of a coplanar forces. Now you assume the same thing here. Okay, parallel forces. So which is the location of center? That point of where the resultant is passing to the point is nothing but your centroid in the case of areas. Okay. So the same case, if it is in the centroid means it is, so we call that point in the case of solid bodies means we are calling it as center of gravity. Whereas the same point, if it is in the case of areas or plane surfaces, then it is nothing but a centroid. Okay. So that is nothing but a difference between that. This is how to locate the centroid. Next method for the location of center. So let us take a plane figure. So this is this one. Okay, let us take a plane figure. This is a reference axis x and y. Okay, this is some figure. Okay, some area. So let us say this is, it is at a distance of uh, like, consider any area, small area dA1 means area of the small area is nothing but dA1, right? And it is at a distance of, from y-axis x distance and from x-axis y distance. The coordinates of your dA1 is nothing but x1 y. Okay, so this is nothing but your centroid of your this point, right? Centroid of this point is nothing but we are assuming that's x1 from the y and y1 from the x-axis. Similarly, another small area, so having area equal to dA2 and the coordinates of dA2 is nothing but the distance of centroid of this area is nothing but x2 and y2. Similarly, another small area, that is nothing but x3 and y3. Okay. Now for this, these are, it consists of like this, many number of particles are there in this one. Okay, many number of small areas. Divide this entire area into very small areas, dA, like this. It consists of several areas. Okay. How many means that depends on your accuracy requires, right? So you can divide into any number of particles. Okay, so now and whole these areas will have the some what is called so X centroid. Centroid. How to calculate the centroid means, let us forget about centroid. Now let us say these are like, assume these all these areas as a forces. Okay. So all these areas are forces means dA1, dA2, dA1 is nothing but one force, dA2 is nothing but one force, dA3 is nothing but one force. Okay. So let us assume that all these are as a parallel forces. Okay. Parallel forces. Now calculate the resultant. So resultant, how to calculate the resultant? Yeah, we have already seen how to find the resultant in the case of what is called for plane centroid. Also, we have discussed, as well as in the case of how to calculate the resultant of a plane areas. We have already discussed. Okay. Now, as per our principle, what is say that? So it is nothing but sum of the resultant, the moment created by a resultant is equal to, so moments created by individual forces. That is nothing but your Varignan's theorem. Okay, so apply the Varignan's theorem here. So same just like that one, right? So calculate the position of the centroid. Now let us go back to the previous one. Let us just see the what is the steps for. Take a plane area, choose a coordinates x and y at convenient position so as to measure the centroid location by x and y. Okay. Let dA1, dA being a small elemental areas whose centroids are at a distance of x1, x2, x3 from y-axis and y1, y2, y3 from the x-axis. So that's what we have discussed here. Right. Now, as per the principle of moments, yeah, principle of moments, this algebraic sum of moments of all these elements areas about any axis is equal to moment of the area of total area is about the same axis. Yeah, about not Varignan's theorem. It is nothing but the principle of the moments. I forgot. Okay, so sorry for. As per the principle of moment, what is it? Algebraic sum of moments of all forces is equal to, about any point is equal to moment of the resultant. Okay, that's nothing but your principle of moment, right? So algebraic sum of moments of all the forces about any point is equal to moment due to the resultant of the force about the same point. That's what our principle of moments, which I discussed in last unit. Right? Now the same thing is here, but instead of force, instead of force here, we are using the term areas. That's the only thing. But we are using the principle is same. But instead of forces, we are using the areas. What is this principle for this how to apply means the algebraic sum of moments of all these elemental areas. So it's nothing but we have to calculate the elemental areas of moments of these elements areas, treating that elements areas as a force. So moment is equal to what? Force into perpendicular distance. Similarly, instead of force, you have to use the area. Means it is a, let us say, dA1, first one area, small area, dA1. dA1 into moment of area dA1 is equal to what? dA1 is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. About which point, if you are calculating about x-axis, into x1. That is nothing but moment of the area from about x-axis. Similarly, for dA2. dA2 is nothing but how to calculate the moment of area about x-axis is nothing but dA2 area into what is that? It's a distance, perpendicular distance. Perpendicular, we are assuming that it is a y2. Okay, so dA1 into y2, that is nothing but your moment of area for the areas, small element area dA2. Similarly, like A3, dA3, dA4, it can be any consist of any number of areas. Okay, total area A about the same axis. Right, thus taking moment of about OY, considering forces parallel to x-axis, y-axis. Right. So about OY means this is the OY about this axis. We are calculating the moment of areas. Okay, moment of force or moment of. In the case of force, we use the term moment of force. In the case of we are in this one, we are the areas. That's why it is moment of areas. Moment of areas of this one is equal to area into perpendicular distance. dA1 is the area, and this is the perpendicular distance. So it is nothing, that is nothing but dA1 into x1 is the moment of area. And for the second case, dA2 into x2, that is a perpendicular distance x2, that is the dA2 into x2, that is nothing but moment area of this small elemental area A2. Okay, like this dA3 and dA4, if it consists of any number and so on. Right, like that. Similarly, you take the moment of areas about the x-axis also. Okay, x-axis means you will get the coordinates of the y2, y1, y2, like that. Right. So like that we are discussing. Right. So d about y-axis means x bar, x1, x2, x3. About x-axis means y1, y2, y3. Right. So simply dA1 into moment of area about the area 1, moment of area about the area 2. So this is nothing but moment of area of the first figure, moment of area of the second figure, moment of area of the third figure, and so on. Right. And applying the principle of moments. What is the principle of moments? Moment of areas of all the force, all the areas is equal to moment of resultant of the moment of area of the total figure. So what is the moment of area of the total figure? That is nothing but total area of the figure is nothing but A into x bar. X bar is nothing but the distance of its centroid from the about the y-axis. That is nothing but x bar. So that is from this one what? dA1 x1 plus dA2 x2 plus dA3 x3 divided by A. Means it is we get this term to this side. Okay. So we bring this term to this one, denominator. It comes to denominator. Right. That is equal to what? X bar is equal to sum of the moment of areas of all the small areas divided by total area. Capital area is nothing but total area of the figure. Right. So in the numerator, so it is nothing but sum of all the areas. Okay. Algebraic sum of areas divided by total area. That will give the your x bar. X bar is the centroidal distance from the y-axis. Okay, that is nothing but x bar. Similarly, by taking the moment about the OX, right, and considering forces parallel to x-axis. So again, taking the moment of area about the figure 1, dA1 y1, dA2 y2, dA3 y3, and so on is equal to again the same thing. So moment of area of the resultant. This is like a moment area of the resultant about the same point. Moment of area of the same point is nothing but in this case same axis. Of course, in this one we have to apply the instead of point we are applying that into some axis. Okay. So that area, total area into, from the x-axis, the distance, the centroidal distance is, that is nothing but perpendicular distance is nothing but y bar. Okay. So A into y bar. Similarly, y bar is equal to sigma dAy by A. Right. That's all you can calculate. Right. Where denote this summation sign. Sigma denotes it. So it can be obtained by integration also. It can be obtained by integration also. The same thing. Summation, integration, is what summation. Okay. Summing up. So in case of a regular areas, this is about general figure. Irregular figures we can do like this. It is a regular figures like a rectangle, triangle, or anything. The composite geometrical shape, regular geometrical shapes. Split the composite area into number of small areas of known centroids. Okay, so it means it is composed of some triangle and rectangle is there. And let us say triangle and rectangle, or triangle and rectangle, square and rectangle, and triangle and square, like that. If we trapezoidal shape, it consists of, trapezoidal means you can divide into a rectangle and triangles, like that. So you have to split the section into known areas, known centroids of the regular figures. Okay. Now how to find the regular figure centroid, let us discuss later. Right. So this method can be applied by considering the dAx and dAy as the summation of the moments of all small elemental areas. Right. So in simple terms, centroid of a plane figure is given by, okay, instead of using this summation. So it is dA1, instead of using a dA1, let us take it as A1. Okay, A1 x1 bar, A2 x2 bar. What is A1 x1 bar? So suppose x bar, if we take x bar is equal to A1 x1 plus A2 x2 and plus dash dash is AN x bar. Right, divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3 up to AN. It's nothing but A1 x1 is the moment of area of the figure 1. Okay, moment of area is nothing but moment of area. Area is A1 and its moment means into the centroidal distance. It is a perpendicular distance. Okay, that is nothing but x1. The distance from the y-axis is nothing but x1 bar for the figure A1. Right. So I will repeat again. So A1 is nothing but the area of the figure 1, and x1 bar is nothing but the it's a distance, and it's perpendicular distance, okay, of A1, perpendicular distance of the area A1 from the y-axis is nothing but x1 bar. Okay. So similarly, x2 bar, A2 x2 bar is nothing but area, perpendicular, A2 is nothing but area of that figure, and x2 bar is nothing but the distance of the area from the y-axis is nothing but x2 bar. Similarly, AN, and divided by A1 plus A2 is nothing but total area of the figure. Right. Similarly, y bar. Y bar is equal to what? A1 y1 plus A2 y2 plus so and so on. Right. So what is A1 y1 means? A1 is nothing but area of the figure 1, and it is y1 bar means the y1 bar means it is what is called it's a distance, means we need the moment of area about y-axis. Moment of area means area is nothing but A1 and moment is nothing but moment of area is nothing but area into perpendicular distance. That perpendicular distance is nothing but we are assuming that it is we are giving a sign that y1 bar. Okay. Plus similarly for A2, like and so on. Divided by again in the denominator, that is nothing but total area. So that's why it is y bar is equal to A1 plus A2 plus A2 and so on, divided by area, total area. So where n is the number of parts in which the lamina is divided into. Means you can divide this whatever given figure into a plane area into any number of parts. Okay, so that is our vision will as per our requirement. So let's see that it is as much less number of components as parts as possible, so that it will be calculation will becomes easier, right? And division also see that it will not be get complicated. Okay. So like that you have to divide that into number of parts. Now A1, A2, A3 and areas of component parts. Where x1, x2, x1 are coordinates, x coordinates of centroid A1, A2, A3, and y1, y2 is nothing. Y coordinates of the centroid A1, A2, AN from the reference axis. Next, one more important nothing but we can say already discussed about something very briefly about the symmetry. Okay, symmetry or axis of symmetry. What is my axis of symmetry means? If you axis of symmetry is the line which divides the figure into two equal parts like mirror images. Okay, so it's a line if you divide that divides the figure into a two equal parts like a mirror images. Mirror images is, whatever one side of the, you are cut into, if you cut into two halves, two parts, if the one side will be reflection of the other side. Means it, the same thing, it has to be same area. Means if it is left side is same, have a equal area, right side also some area, the right side also, right part also shall have the same area. Okay, so whatever may be there, it may be any amount of quantity, can be anything, magnitude can be anything, but it shall be same. Like that, the same thing that we have discussed in the during the calculation of support reaction. Symmetry means it is load. If you divide this as a member into a two parts, the loads on the left side and right side are same. That is nothing but it's a symmetrical load. That's the same thing here it is. Okay, so in that one, in this case, it is axis of symmetry, means it's a line. Okay, so the line means that can be x-axis or it can be a y-axis or it can be both axis. So the centroid always lying on the lies on the axis of symmetry, right? Similarly, just now it is nothing but we have discussed in the center of gravity also. Center of gravity lies on the axis of symmetry. Okay, symmetric line, on the symmetric line. This here also centroid also lies on the axis of symmetry. A figure may contain, of course, one or more number of axes of symmetry. If this having more than one symmetric, if you draw symmetric axis any about any two lines, the intersection point itself is with your centroid. Okay. So if a figure has two axes of symmetry, the centroid lies at the intersection of the axis of symmetry. Let us say if a figure is a rectangle, if a rectangle, you take a dry symmetry about the x-axis and a symmetry about the symmetrical axis about y-axis and x-axis. They intersect at midpoint. That point is nothing but your centroid. Okay, like that you can graphically also you can locate the centroids of some figures. Okay, it's very easy. But all the figures it may not be easy. So graphically all the cases it is may not be possible. So it is obviously we have to calculate the centroids for the areas using some way, some method. Right. So this is about axisymmetry. So once again I will repeat what is axisymmetry is nothing but, so axisymmetry is the line which divides the figure into equal parts like a mirror images. The centroid lies on the axis of symmetry. Obviously. Okay, figure may contain one or more axes. It can have any number of, if you take a circle, okay, if you take a rectangle, so it will be symmetric about only two axes, x and y axis, rectangle or square. But if you take a circle, it will be, if you divide about any axis, it is symmetric only. If x, y, u, v, if you cut into any parts, it will be symmetric only. Like that, some figures may contain any number of axes of symmetry. Okay, but if it is, if you draw any two axes of symmetries, if the intersection point indicates the centroid, the intersection point itself is a centroid of that for that figure, for that area. Right. That's nothing but your axis of symmetry. Now let us see the difference between the center of gravity and centroid. So center of gravity applies to bodies with mass or weight, whereas centroid applies to only plane figures. Okay. So center of gravity applies to what? Only bodies with mass or weight, whereas centroid applies to only plane areas. Okay. So as we already seen this discuss, center of gravity applies to solid bodies. Means we have solid body means generally it will have mass or weight, whereas the centroid applies to only plane surfaces. Plane surfaces are areas. It is applicable for only areas. Center of gravity is the point where through which the whole body mass or weight acts, whereas centroid is a point which it's a point where total entire area is assumed to be concentrated, and the centroid can be also in or out of the area, right? So which the algebraic sum of moments of area is zero, or centroid is a point or in or out of the area about which the algebraic sum of moments of areas is zero. The algebraic sum of forces about zero is nothing but your centroid gravity. So center of gravity is the point for which it is, right? So this is about differences between the two, what is called difference between the center of gravity and centroids. Now let us see the centroids of generally used geometric shapes. Generally used like a triangle, rectangle, or a square, hemisphere, cone, or like this conical shape, anything. The centroids of some regularly used geometrical shapes have been for the we have been. Let us see how to calculate the values of the centroid while solving problems. So additional data is also given that the data in the table for the extension of the subject, which will not be used in the syllabus. Okay, if you see this one, so these are the regular figures. It is nothing but a square. Okay, the square so is nothing but it's L and if this means one both will be same. So it is L. L is nothing but L square. Area is L square, and X bar is nothing but L by 2, and Y bar is nothing but L by 2. It's nothing but it's a term. Use it here. It is a term L. You can use a B. Generally, we use the term B, right? So for width of a square is nothing but side of a square is nothing B. So B into B is the area. B square will be the area, and X bar is equal to B by 2, and Y bar is equal to B by 2 because it is a symmetric, right? If you see that symmetry means in this case, if you draw a x axis here, so like this, so it is not proper, right? Okay, this is symmetrical y-axis and this is symmetrical x-axis. If you draw these two lines, it will intersect at this point. Okay, the intersection point is nothing but your centroid. That's what it is nothing but. How much it lies? Generally, it will be at a distance of L by 2. L by 2 means if the side is L, then the distance will be L by 2. Okay, so same thing here it is. The distance between here to here, it is nothing but L by 2. This is nothing but your centroid. Okay, this is nothing but centroid. The coordinates of centroid is nothing but about from this point. It is L by 2 and L by 2. That is nothing but your coordinates of your centroid. Centroid is L by 2, L by 2. From here it is L by 2. From here also it is L by 2. And from here also it is L by 2. From here also it is, because it is square. Right. So that is about a rectangular phase. Simple section. Now let us see the rectangle. Sorry, square. Now it is rectangle. So if you draw the again it is if you draw what is called symmetry axis, two axes of symmetry, generally it will, this is nothing but a symmetrical x axis, symmetrical y axis. If you draw these two, so it is nothing but they will intersect at this point. Okay, or if other way is nothing but join the two what is called diagonals. So means these are the two diagonals. The intersection point of diagonals is nothing but centroid. For the case of your square as well as rectangles, draw the diagonals, they will intersect at a point. The intersection point is nothing but your centroid. So how much it will be means generally that will be half of the side, half of that side. If you take this one, so if it is if you think that it is L and this is the side is L and height is H, for example, and its distance is nothing but from here to here is nothing but L by 2, right? And it from here to here it is H by 2. Right. So this is a rectangle. Of course, this can be even this is geometrical solution. I mean, it's nothing but graphical solution. Drawing these two and joining. But even if you can calculate the from the first principle also. I will discuss in the next class how to calculate these figures, how to arrive these figures using first principle. First principle is nothing but using sum of the algebraic sum of moments, moment of areas divided by area. From that principle also you can use it. So I will let us discuss that in the next class. For time being, you remember this. Let us check these values in the next class. Okay. So now you see this one. So again a triangle having a base equal to L and height equal to H. Then what is the area? Half into base into height. Half into base means L, height means H. Half into L into H. That is nothing but your area. And what is the centroid? Where the centroid lies? So centroid for the figure is nothing but, so it is where centroid, yeah, this one. So this one is centroid. So if you divide, this will be symmetric about only one axis. This triangle is symmetric about only about the y-axis. If you cut into halves, both sides will be same. Whereas if about x-axis, if you draw anywhere, so it is not a symmetric. It is not symmetrical about any axis. Okay. So that's why what is say. So it is nothing but that's why wherever this centroid lies on the one of the principles we have, one of the point we have discussed, that centroid always lies on the line of symmetry or axis of symmetry, on the lies on the axis of symmetry. That's why it is centroid lies on this line only, but where it lies that we have to see. Okay, so this is the area, and about x bar is nothing but from this point. So it is nothing but 1 plus a by 3. Okay, so 1 plus a by 3, that is nothing but this is area. Means generally it is this line on this line means it is a. Okay, AB means if it is in the case of similar triangle, then it is, that's why it is given as a plus b. Okay, if it is similar triangle, generally it will be L at a distance of L by 2. Okay, but similar triangle means if it is all are same sides. Okay, sorry, I'm very sorry. So it is, let us say, similar triangle is there. So obviously it will be the where centroid is lies nothing but it will be lies at a distance of this. If it is say that L, so it will lies at a distance of L by 2 only. But in the case of this is general figure. So in this case it is given that if it is not a what is called similar triangle, then in this case it is nothing but this distance x bar means that from this point x bar is equal to 1 plus a by 3. Okay, so a means, so in case of symmetric triangles a becomes L by 2. So L by 2 plus 1, L by 2 means 3 by 2, 3 by 2 divided by 3, we get cancelled, 1 by 3 remains, that is the primitive simply you will get L by 2 only. Okay, like this it is a general formula given, that is 1 plus a by 3, right? And height, coming to height, okay, it is nothing but it is lies on these sides only, right? If it is symmetric, okay, if it is, this is symmetric, then it is, if it is a is different, b is different, this is not, even this figure also not symmetric about any axis. Okay, so in this case previously I thought that it is a right angle triangle, similar triangle, but in this case it may not, may or may not be, right? So a may be different, a equal to b means that becomes a similar triangle. But if A is equal to B is different, then it is, in the case it is not symmetrical about the y-axis, right? So then coming to the y bar. So y bar is nothing but where the y bar lies. This is lies at a height of h by 3. From the base, the height of your centroid is nothing but h by 3. Okay, right? So it is nothing but h by 3 from the base for triangle. Now let us verify all these things later. No problem. Now a trapezium is there. So it can, you can divide into what is called two parts. You have to divide this part into two, one this and this one. Okay, so trapezoidal shape. So trapezoidal base, first you have to divide into like how to calculate means, first you have to divide this into one rectangle, then this is rectangle, two triangles, and calculate means use the your moment of area theorem. Okay, so first moment of area, right? Use the first moment of area and calculate the area. So how to calculate area? H by 2 into a plus b is the area, and a plus b by 2 is the a plus b by 2 is the what is called this is a is nothing but top width, b is nothing but bottom width. A plus b by 2 is nothing but x bar. Okay, so from this point it is, it lies at a distance of a by 2, a plus b by 2. Okay, if this is both sides they are same, then it will lies at the center only, midpoint. Okay, midpoint of this one. But if in the case of this is different, means this is different and this triangle is different, then you have to use this formula a plus b by 2. And similarly height means you have to calculate 2a plus b by a plus b into h by 3. Okay, so this is nothing but 2a plus b divided by a plus b into h by 3. So that is nothing but you have to use this formula to calculate the y bar. So this is the y bar, and this one is x bar. From here to here is nothing but x bar. Okay, so this is for the trapezium. In the case of parallelogram, so this is nothing but this is a reference and this is one reference. This is a reference x-axis, reference y-axis, right? So in this case, so what is the area? AB sin theta. So AB sin theta is the area, and x bar is nothing but b plus a cos theta by 2, and y bar is nothing but a sin theta by 2. So you have to remember all these things, because every time it is not possible to derive all these things. For simple figures, okay, no problem, but it is every time the basic fundamentals you have to forever you have to remember. That's why it is better to remember. Next, circular area, pi by 4 d square or pi r square area. Okay, so in terms of radius it is pi r square, in terms of diameter it is pi by 4 d square, and where it lies, it is nothing but it lies at the center of your circle. Okay, center of circle. Center of circle is how much? Either radius or diameter by 2. Okay, from here to here it is nothing but radius. Okay, here to here is nothing but radius. So So radius is equal to what? Radius is equal to diameter by 2. Okay, radius is equal to diameter by 2. Next one is quarter circle area. Okay, quarter circle means part of circle. So in that case, area is 1/4 because it is total area is pi r square means 1/4 means quarter means 1/4. It is 1/4. And what is the centroidal distance? 4r by 3 pi and 4r by 3 pi. So this is the point centroid C. So this is nothing but from here to here. This is nothing but x bar. And similarly, this is y bar. Right. Next is the previously the quarter circle. Now it is semicircle. Semicircle is half of the area pi r square by 2, and radius x bar is nothing but from here to here it is x bar. So from here to here it is x bar. So this is x bar is equal to how much? So equal to radius, because it is radius means it is this is your center of your circle. So this here also it is radius only. Here also it is radius. Here also it is radius. That's why the x bar equal to radius, and height will be equal to same as your previous case. That is 4r by 3 pi. Next, arc of a circle. This is only arc. This is not solid. This is only arc of a circle. Okay. So this is of a arc of circle. Only we are considering this means for this area. For this only this one we have to calculate. We are calculating the what is what we call. We are calculating the centroid. Centroid is nothing but 2 alpha r. 2 alpha is the angle between these two. Okay, about this point. So r. Next, okay. Next x bar is nothing but r sin alpha by alpha, and y bar is 0. Means your y bar will be, this part is symmetric about this axis. That's why it is lies on this one. That's why it is y bar is equal to 0. Okay, this is lying on this one about this axis. The distance of centroid itself lying on the x axis. So in that case, y bar becomes 0. That's why it is 0. Next, circular sector means it is a part of circle. Let us say this is a circle and this is a part. Okay, so this is nothing but your sector. Sector means a part of your circle. Right. In this case, let us say this is about this symmetric about y axis, x axis. That's why y bar is equal to 0. Means your centroid lies on the axis. In that case, that length becomes 0. Right. That's why it is 2r sin alpha by 3 alpha. Okay. Sorry, 2. Okay, 2r sin alpha by 3 alpha. That is nothing but formula to calculate the x bar. So means from here to here. That is nothing but your x bar. Okay, and alpha by r square. This is the area. Alpha into r square area. Right. So next, ellipse and the semi-ellipse, parabola and half parabola. Right. So now let us see this ellipse. Ellipse mean it is symmetrical about any axis. It is from here to here it is a, and here it is because it is lying on the axis. That's why it is 0. Okay, this length becoming 0. And semi-ellipse pi a by 2, area pi a by, and in this case again it is this is centroid. From here to here it is a, and 4b by 3 pi. 4r instead of circle it is 4r by 3 pi. Instead of ellipse, the case of ellipse is 4b by 3 pi. 4b by 3 pi. This height is nothing but your y bar. Okay, y bar is nothing but this height. So this is nothing but 4b by 3 pi. Because this is a b, height is b, so 4b by 3 pi. Next, parabolic. So 4, it's nothing but 4ah, area is nothing but 4 by 3 ah. 4 by 3 ah, and it is from about this point, the centroid lies here, and from here to here it is 2 by 5 of h. Next, in the case of half parabola, so if you see the half parabola, this is, see the parabola. Half parabola means it is shape is like this. Okay, another, this is also parabolic, shape is like this. Okay, so for these cases it is very important. For most of the cases, our we require generally rectangle, triangle, circle, and this very important cases. So we have to require it regularly. 2 by 3 ah means 2/3 of rectangle. Just like if you assume that is a rectangle. Okay, so if you assume that this is like a rectangle, so rectangle area is a what? A into h. Okay, is a rectangle area. But Why this is not rectangle? This is a parabolic portion. Only up some portion of the rectangle. How much it is? 2/3. If it is this is shape is this is like this, then it is called the 2/3 of rectangular area. If the shape is like this is 1/3 of rectangular area. Okay, means 2/3 plus 1/3 becomes 1. So that's why it will become a rectangle. So this is shape for this area is nothing but 2/3 because more area will be there, and this will be lesser to the 1/3 area. Okay, only 1/3 area. And A is nothing but from here to here. The centroid means from here to here. So from here to here it is 3/5 A. Okay, 3/5 A. From here to here it is 3/8 A. Okay, 3/5 A and 3/8 A. Right, of this height. And if it, for this one 3/5 of this width. Similarly, for this type of parabolic shape, and it is 3/4 means 1/4 of the distance from here, and it is side is this one. And similarly, this one is 3/10. Okay, all are nothing but numerator. Everything for all things it is 3 only, right? So even area for the area's denominator, all x bar and y bar, it is everything will have a 3 on the numerator. 3/5, 3/8, 3/4, 3/10. Right. So this is about their some of the shapes and their x bar and y bars. Of course, these are numerical values are very important, not only parabolic. So remaining all the shapes also, especially rectangle, square, right, and a triangle, and also circular shape and parabolic shape, so half circular, so semicircular, and next quarter circle, next parabolic shapes. These are little bit of more important compared to ellipses and this one. Right. So let us see what was. So let us stop here. So by today's class, let us see remaining terms in the next class. Okay. Right.